Oh shit, hello my fellow dwellers of the internet. Have you ever wanted to travel the world? Well, odds are you're probably unable to in real life, but you can most certainly do so in the world of video games, specifically Rimworld. In Rimworld, we have 3 different options for world sizes. These options are: I have a Shitbox 3000 as my PC, the basic bitch, I don't like caravanning far, and the Chad, my PC doesn't suck and I like being immersed in my gameplay. One thing I've never done, and I'll bet many of you haven't done either, is circumnavigate a 100% size Rimworld. I mean, why would you? It's Rimworld, it is not Oregon Trail. But today, with a couple mods installed to make caravanning slightly more fun, that's just what the plan is. I found us a tile located on a roadway for our starting point. In case you don't know, tiles containing roads double your caravanning speed, so I'm starting us out on one for a good head start. Since I'll be doing a bunch of trading, I figured that a religion based around trading would be pretty convenient for us. Something about this combination just doesn't sit right with me, but I can't say exactly what about it bothers me. It's all good though, we have Ben Sharpie as our god. I'm getting carried away though, so let's get right into it. We landed down in a temperate forest and was introduced to the man who will be forcing to embark on this journey across the planet. I'll try not to get you killed, Fabio, no promises though. Now we can't just pack up and head out. I mean, we could, but I don't want to. Instead, we will be spending the first few days at our starting point to get a couple extra resources and be a little bit more prepared. The first order of business though is I need to build a pen for this very well-dressed fellow, because if he runs off, that would seriously complicate things. My man Fabio can only carry so much. Camp was set up and we wrangled our pack animal into their pen. Now it's time to grab some resources. For this scenario, I thought it would be too easy if we started with normal starting supplies, so besides a tent, some food, and a pack animal, I didn't start us with really anything. So, I need to grab some items of value to get us some silver in our pockets so we can properly trade with other settlements along the way. But before we could do any of that, a warg decided he wanted to start some shit he couldn't finish, and we got to save some of our packaged survival meals for the day. With peace restored, Fabio began draining the local ecosystem of its precious minerals. We got ourselves a solid bundle of silver, gold, jade, and even some plasteel. Now with some physical assets of value to our name, it was time to start our great pilgrimage across the planet. I decided we were going to follow the road and start westward since that was the route to the closest tradable settlement. And so it was. Camp was packed up and we started the trek to our first stop of many on this trip. Once there, I sold off a bunch of the stuff we had. They had a yak, so being the visionary I am, foreseeing that we would need to be able to carry more in our future travels, I bought it. And then I spent the rest on chocolate so we'd have a reasonable amount of food for the foreseeable future. Shortly after leaving the village, a strange radio wave was picked up by Fabio, so I decided to go and investigate. And it led us to this abandoned genetics lab, so I decided to become an urban explorer for a second, and we made our way inside. After stepping foot inside the lab, we got ambushed by this abomination of God. Long story short, bro took a fat L, and Fabio pushed further into the lab, slaughtering any failed late-term abortions that wanted to throw hands. We wouldn't be leaving empty-handed though, as we stumbled upon enough genetic research and lab equipment to make genetically modified cat girls real. With our newfound goodies, we packed up and continued on our way, leaving the lab behind and heading towards the next civilization for trading. At this stop I bought some meds, since we didn't have any, meaning that just one illness and we were more than likely dead. Then I sold some more of our stuff and bought some food for the road. As our business dealings in town were concluded, we got back to caravanning. Boy, traveling through gelatinous superorganisms and mountains are so fun, guys. Finally, I made it through to an imperial city, only to realize that I had no royal title to be able to trade with them. I was running out of food. Luckily, there was a tribal village nearby that I could buy food off of. And buy food I did. With a comfortable amount of food acquired, I began us on our longest segment yet, up north. However, our travels would be interrupted by a pack of man-hunting sand pillars, and by some intact ruins that were uncovered after an explosion nearby. With potential promises of riches, you bet your ass I'm gonna check it out. Upon arrival, there were already loose organs sitting around, so I knew the place had to be good. I mean, do you know how much your kidney's worth? If not, I'd be more than happy to take yours and sell it for myself. Acting sort of like a proof of concept, you know? Anyways, Fabio kicked in the door and my god, it's loaded. I sifted through all the items and let's just say Fabio's net worth is about to shoot up more than a heroin addict. Now excited by the prospect of a sizable payday waiting for us, we marched back towards our original stop. Once there, I picked up a rad yak because we were starting to get pretty heavy even with the 2 animals we had now. And I dripped our boy out in some locust armor with a gun link. Now freshly dripped out, we headed back out on our way. I had to stop off at another settlement and do more trading. Man, it sure does pay to be Semitic. But now we had an important choice ahead of us, a split in the path. Do we continue south or do we travel up through the north? I opted for the north. As we made our way north, one of our animals caught the plague, so I set up a temporary camp to treat it. They're carrying way too many valuables that I can't afford to lose just because they decided to get sick. With an immunity developed, we went off and explored another one of those genetic labs that was on the way, securing even more of a bag in the process. Then we set off and made our way northward. Realizing we were approaching the freezing north, I chose to set up camp and gather some more resources for a couple days, so we'd be better prepared and not freeze to death once we got up there. While we were setting up camp, a caravan came by and their leader told us that they had been chased off by a bunch of mechanoids, and asked if they could rest at our camp for a while.
I think she's making a move on me, guys. See you later, virgins.
I agreed to let them stay, and they invited me to come by their colony sometime, as well as gave me this power cell thingy, whatever this is. Afterwards, I did what I needed to do. I mined some jade and performed some sacred Jewish rituals, and we were back on the road. Those traders from before who we let stay with us sent us a distress signal from their place. It was along the way, so I decided to take a slight detour and help them out. Shortly after our arrival, they informed us that they were being attacked by a bunch of mechanoids, and right on cue, a swarm of mechanoids launched their attack on the colony. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think we're winning this. Now, I could have been a good Samaritan and helped. But, as I said in one of my previous videos, best work is the work you outsource to someone else. As I predicted, the mechanoids wiped everything. I couldn't even grab any goodies from the dead people because they flooded the area so fast. So, I had to run away empty-handed. Not the ideal outcome, but we need to get back on track. We have a planet to travel. We finally made our way north. At our next stop, I traded our Locust armor for some prestige cataphract armor, and because I had so much money lying around just to flex, I bought a slave by the name of Snake. Welcome aboard. Together we traveled through the tundra, and at our next stop I decided to sell Snake off since he decided to develop a pretty bad case of frostbite, and I replaced him with another slave, this time a child named Ferret. We pushed onward through the ice sheet ahead, and in our time on the ice sheet, Ferret both aged up and died from frostbite all on the same day. With that dead weight gone, Murado made it to the other side of the ice sheet and really started picking up some mileage. Being low on funds again from some cold, pun intended, malinvestments, I set up camp once again just to gather some things to sell. While I was here, I mined up some components, and I decided to open up the map's Ancient Danger. I had to juke around the mechanoid, but I was able to make off with all my new goodies to finish off the trip. And finish off the trip we were gonna do. We had made it back to the side of the planet that we had started on originally, and day by day, Fabio made his way towards the finish line. Until we had done it. We had made it back from where we started, but we're not quite done yet. To celebrate this achievement, I took the leftover items and I built Fabio a place made of silver. And with his newfound stationary life, I think that's a very good place to leave things off. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and drop a sub so you don't miss the next one, and while you're at it, why not leave a like and a comment. Anyways, I'll see you internet goblins next time.